Well, I did it. I I just spent $4,000 on Black Bolt and White Flare Pokemon cards. It didn't feel good, but it needed to be done. I only opened up a little bit of it, didn't open up a lot of it, but I had to complete these. So this right here it'll finish a White Flare master set. Every single card that you can pull from a booster pack. So every single common and uncommon, every reverse holo, Pokeball reverse holo, Master Ball reverse holo, illustration rare, special illustration rare, ultra rare, double rare, black and white rare, they're all going to be in here. Everything is going to be in here. And also, if that wasn't enough, I also have Black Bolt. So this will have the exact same thing, except the Black Bolt side of things. And why do I do that? Well, I want to give it away to one lucky subscriber. Unfortunately, I did get 2 messages from TCG players saying that 2 cards were refunded. So the Sigilif Master Ball and the Zebstrika Master Ball were refunded. So I've got to repurchase those. Apparently they weren't in stock. So, but everything is on its way. I've already gotten some of it in, which is really nice. And then I get to give it away to one of you. So if you want to win, just make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And then you want to leave a like and a comment on this video right up here. This is the thumbnail of it. I'll also leave a link in the description so that way you can just click on it after you're done watching this video. Make it simple. So scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and then yeah, do the like and the comment on that video over there that you're good. Come back next week Friday. So 1 week from today, we're going to announce 2 winners. One winner is going to get Black Bolt, and one winner is going to get White Flare, which is absolutely nuts. And we're going to talk about Black Bolt and White Flare right now.
So Black Bolt and White Flare officially came out like 2 weeks ago, right? We had the release of the poster collections, the binder collections, the mini tins, and the Elite Trainer boxes. Today is actually the release of the Victini boxes, as well as the tech sticker collection. So there's a decent amount of Black Bolt and White Flare that have kind of hit the market. But it is also important to remember that there's just an exorbitant amount of illustration rares in this set. There is just a ton of them. So for a little bit, as soon as Black Bolt and White Flare came out, it seemed like prices were actually doing really, really well. In today's video, we're going to look at the price drops, and they're pretty significant across the board. There is a lot of cards. I know there's a lot of focus on that Seismitoad right now, but this is always what I will preach, and what you need to remember that is super important is that where everybody else is going, you go somewhere else. There are a lot of Black Bolt and White Flare cards that are super cheap right now. Already very inexpensive and dropping, continuing to drop. We're talking about 70-80% drops for the first 2 weeks, which is really just not normal. It's really not that normal. Usually you have a lot of cards that drop 30-40%, and there are some that do that, but to have some that drop 60-70-80%, that tells me that there's a lot of product that is being opened and a lot of product that is being moved on the secondary market in the form of singles. Now, it is also important to remember that there's also a lot of value in Black Bolt and White Flare because of the Pokeball Master Balls, the Pokeball Reverse Holos, and because of the Master Ball Reverse Holos. That definitely does add a decent amount of value to the potential that you could pull from a booster pack. Also, product is still relatively difficult to find, so there are a lot of people who are finding victories, going out, maybe grabbing a W at their local Best Buy or something like that. Just be patient. Don't FOMO, don't lose your mind. Like I said before, don't go where everybody else is going, go somewhere else. And if right now you can't find any Black Bolt and White Flare to open, maybe start looking at some of the singles. We look at this every single set release. About a couple weeks after the set is released, we take screenshots of what the prices are, the market, opening morning of a set release. So like Black Bolt and White Flare, I took the top selling, the most expensive cards from Black Bolt, the most expensive cards from White Flare, and took a screenshot of the first couple pages on TCG Player to see what market price was established. And why do I do it opening morning? I do it opening morning because that's when TCG Player opens the floodgates to let anybody sell on their platform. Prior to that, you have to be an authorized pre-sale store from TCG Player, so I don't really like using the market price for that because it's not really established yet. I think Friday morning of a set release, then you really start seeing that race to the bottom as people start unloading all of their duplicates, triplicates, and things like that. And that's when you really start getting a market price that is established. So we're going to look at the first few pages at least. There's a lot of them, so I'm going to try and hammer through them relatively quickly because I do know your time is important. important to you. I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, please hit that subscribe button down below, share the video, leave a like, leave a comment, do all the things. You guys are amazing. You know that already, so thank you so much for all of that. And a lot of these prices haven't even been established yet, so we do have a couple of special illustration rares right at the top, but there weren't any black white rares that really sold pre-release, and that tells me that those cards came in too expensive. Now, they are still very expensive. When I was buying the cards to finish off the Black Bolt and White Flare master sets that we're giving away, I did still need a couple of them. I still needed the Reshiram Black White Rare from White Flare, so that was over $400 to buy just that card, and then I needed the Red Victini from Black Bolt. So I pulled it in White Flare, but I didn't pull it in Black Bolt, so I needed to buy that one as well. That was another over $400 card. So they are selling for over $400, but I think pre-order prices for them were just too much. People weren't buying them at that price point. There was only a couple of them that were selling. The first one we're looking at is the Zekrom EX right here. Very cool looking card. Market price on release. So release day was $400. Now it's dropped 44% in the first 2 weeks. Even though pull rates on special illustration rares are still fairly difficult. It's about 1 out of 2 booster boxes worth of packs. The special illustration rares in the set are not doing too bad. Like, they're doing okay. For the most part, it's just this one and the Reshiram that are very expensive. So $223.68, still very pricey, but it has dropped about 44%. If we look down at the one below it, the Ends Plan, that's like the second most expensive one in the set. So it started out at $164.99 as the established market price, which was a little bit expensive, and now it's already dropped well below $100. So down about 56.68%. It's currently sitting at $71.47 and continuing to fall. If you look at special illustration rares of trainers, outside of like the Carmine, there wasn't really a whole lot of value for a lot of them. Even like the Morty's Conviction got pumped a lot upon release, and some of the other ones did as well, like the Miriam, obviously from Scarlet and Violet base, but the demand didn't seem to be there. So I would be patient on some of those if your goal is to collect some of those special illustration rare trainer cards like the Ends Plan or the Hilda. I would be patient on those because they should drop a little bit more. If we look at the illustration rares, the most expensive one out of the gate for Black Bolt was Haxorus. That was at $70 on opening day. It's dropped about 35.5%. So now it's down to about $45.13. Still relatively expensive for an illustration rare, but when you start looking at the top heavy illustration rares in previous sets, like Twilight Masquerade, for example, or Surging Sparks, for example, with the Latios, there usually is a couple of them that are relatively expensive. Now, there's a ton of illustration rares in Black Bolt and White Flare, so to have one of the more expensive ones be only $45, not too bad. And as we get more and more product, because remember, Black Bolt and White Flare are waived, so we have new releases today, and then we have more new releases in the future with the booster bundles when those come out, and that's really going to help bring the secondary market price down even more. This is definitely a waiting game for a lot of these singles, if it is something that you want to master. The Excadrill EX, another special illustration rare, started out at $64.99. That's dropped about 47%, so it's down to $34.22. That's not bad at all for a special illustration rare. Very affordable, which is pretty cool. Here's the Seismitoad right here. Obviously, the same artwork from the person who did the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. Yes, it is probably being pumped. Yes, it is probably being manipulated, and that is why you go somewhere else. I've seen a lot of complaints about how expensive this card is. Okay, let it be expensive. Hopefully, it'll come down a little bit. There's a lot of other cheaper ones on here. You put a bunch of negative energy into it, it's just going to get worse. So just ignore it right now. It's up 277%, which is crazy. Maybe it'll warrant that price point. Maybe it won't. But right now, it's at $216.64, doing extremely well. Next one we're going to look at is the Scolipede. This one came in at $29.99 opening morning. It's dropped about 32.5%, down to $20.23. The Sandile has gotten crushed. So this one started out very expensive at $28.99, probably a little bit more expensive than it should have been, but it's dropped all the way down to $9.61. So it's lost almost 67%, which is really, really good. The Volcarona was a little bit more expensive, and this one's actually held on extremely well. It is a cool looking card. Started out about $26. It's dropped about 10%, so it's down to $23.34. The Solosis started out at $25. Very simplistic form on this one, which is why I think a lot of people do like it. It's dropped down about 54%, so it's down to $11.48. Not bad on that one. The Axew right there, $23.99 is where it started. It's lost about 42% of its value, down to $13.84. The Full Art Zekrom EX started out at $20.50. Not a whole lot of playability with the Zekrom. There's actually not a ton in Black Bolt and White Flare that really might have a huge impact on the competitive game. Obviously, yes, you have the Hilda, you have Brave Bengal, you have some supporter cards, trainer cards like that are fairly decent, and then maybe the Genesect that does give a bump up to Golden Go. The Jellicent definitely does have some potential. Maybe Meloetta, maybe Cottony or Whimsicott. I mean, you don't know. A lot of stuff's got to happen yet, but Zekrom probably not a big one. Reshiram also probably not a big one. one. And because of that, not doing too well. Dropped about 50%. It's down to $10.18. The Escavalier illustration rare started out at $19.99. This one has dropped a little bit over 30%, down to $13.91. The Fracture, very cool looking illustration rare right here. This one started out at $19.99. It's dropped down to $16.23. So that one lost about 18.81%. The Snivy has actually gone up. So there are a few that did go up opening week. So this one started out at $19.99 as well. It's down. It's up to $22.77. So up almost 14%. The Audino, one of those claymation-like artworks, which is really cool. $18.99 is where it started. It's dropped below $13, down almost 32%. Ends Plot, just the full art here. So this is just the ultra rare. This one's gotten crushed. It's down over 66%. Started out at $17.62. Now it's all the way down to $5.94. So down about 66%. The Dynamo, I really love the simplistic nature of this one. Very cool looking card. $15.49 is where it started. It's dropped single digits. It's only down about 9%, down to $14.05. The Unpheasant started out a little bit cheaper. Started out at $14.99. That one's down to $10.72. So it's dropped about 28.5%. The Kling Clang started out almost at $15 at $14.87. That one's lost about 17.5%, down to $12.25. The Darumaka illustration rare is so cute. This one started out at $14.07. It's down about 40%. So it's sitting at $8.39 right now. Here is the Genesect EX we were talking about. This one is the full art version, the ultra rare version. Started out at $13.55. It's only dropped about 22%, so not bad. That does tell you that there is some potential here. It's dropped down to about $10.56. The Elgin with the beautiful skyline in the background. This one started out at $13.50. It has lost about 39%, so that one's down to about $8.19. The Clink has gotten hammered. This one's down over 58%, so it started out at $13. It's down to $5.43. So a fair amount of cards in the single digits right now as far as illustration rares go, which is great if you need to collect a lot of them, if you want to get a lot of them. This one down to $5.43. The Whirlipede's down to $6.38. That one started out at $12.95, so that's almost a 51% drop on that one. Then we've got the Cobalion. This one actually has gone up a little bit. Very majestic looking artwork on this one. I love it. Started out at $12. It's up to $20.02. So this one's up almost 67%. The Cryogonal, this one dropped almost 52%, so that's a decent dip. Started out at $12. Now it's single digits, sitting at $5.78. And then the Golurk from Black Bolt, this one started out at $10 and now it's down to $6.54. So that one's about 35% down. The Pansage started out at $10. This one's already down to $6.50. Another card in the single digits. That one's dropped 35%. The Cubchoo has gone up a little bit. It started out at $10. Very cute looking card. It's up to about $11.39 right now. So that's $13.90. The first Pokeball pattern is the Prism Energy. Not bad. Does have some potential competitively. Was at $9.99. It's down to $4.48. Remember, there is no Master Balls for the trainer card. So it's just the regular art, the reverse holo, and the Pokeball pattern. I say just, but that's still 3 different variants for a master set. Down about 55% to $4.48. The Musharna illustration rare. This one also single digits. It started out at $9.99. It's down to $6.43. So that's about 35.5% down. The Beartic. This one started out at $9.88. It's currently sitting at $9.03. So single digit drop, about 8%, 9% that it's dropped, but still only about $9, which isn't bad. The Maractus, one of the cheaper illustration rares in the set, started out at $9.30. It's all the way down to $3.69. So very cool there. Down about 60%. That one's gotten crushed. The Venipede started out at $9.06. It's down to $6.09. So that one's down 33%. The Fennel for full art started out at $8. This one's already almost a bulk full art, down to $2.46. It's dropped almost 70%, down 69.4%, which is crazy. The Genesect EX regular art. So this is just the double rare variant. Started out at $7.13, and you can see that playability potential right there, especially with the World Championships right around the corner. This one's dropped single digits, only down about 5.5%, down to $6.73. And then we've got a few left from Black Bolt here. So we've got the Mincino. That one started out relatively inexpensive at $6.99. It's gone up about 34%, so it's sitting at $9.36 right now. The Full Art Superior, not a very competitive card, which is why it's basically bulk pricing now. Started out at $6.74, down to $2.31, so that one got hammered, down about 65, 66%. The Meloetta Full Art started out at $6.64. That one's down to $3.09, so that's lost over 53%. Regular regular art Zekrom is down to $2.36. That one's down 61%. Then you've got the Pansage Master Ball. There were a few Master Balls that sold before release. That one started out at $6. It's down about 17.5%. The Lilligant started out very inexpensive at $5.13. So started out very cheap. Now it's up over 261%, sitting at $18.55. So a lot of love for that Lilligant over the last couple weeks. The Superior EX is down to 50 cents already, so that one's lost over 84%. Meloetta has dropped over 85%, down to 40 cents, and the Maractus Pokeball pattern was another one that did sell pre-release, down 38.5%. If we look at the White Flare side of things, you've got the Hydreigon right there. That one has dipped below $100, so that one's lost 52% from where it started. It started out $205 a couple weeks ago, so that one down to $98.64. Then we do have that Hilda Special Illustration Rare, which started out at $97. Again, very competitive card. You do expect this to dip a little bit more yet, down about 12%, currently sitting at $85.38, but I'd give that one a little bit of time. The Oshawott Illustration Rare started out relatively expensive, right? $62.23. That one's lost over 27%, so it's down to about $45.29, a little bit more expensive, but you've got cards like the Mineshaw, which started out extremely expensive at $50. Somebody must have really loved that Mineshaw. But it's lost almost 87%, so now it's a single-digit card, down to $6.61. Here's that full art Hilda. Again, that just tells you the strength that Hilda probably will have in the competitive play. The searchability, the consistency adds to your deck a lot. Started out at $42.82. It is down to $17.66, so it did drop a fair amount. Still a little bit expensive, but down about 59%. Very cute-looking Tepig right there. Started out at $34.99. It's dropped down to $25.82, so that one's down about 26%. The Zoroark started out at $30. This one has gone up a little bit, so up almost 25%, currently sitting at $37.49. But outside of those cards right there, White Flare not doing too great. Like this Wellius right here, this one started out at $28. It's lost about half of its value, so it's down to $14.74. The Ducklet started out at $25. It's all the way down to $11.78, so that one's lost over half of its value, down almost 53%. The Simisear started out at $25. It's all the way down to $7.68, so it's lost almost 69%. The Zorua, also with the moon in the background, very cool looking card. This one's done really well. So $22.24 is where it started. It's up to $23.07. It's gained a few percentage points back. The Dino started out at $19.99. That one's down to $13.72. So that one's lost about 31.25%. The Gothorita, this one down about 31%. So it started out at $19.99. Now it's down to $13.87. The Sawaddle started out at $16.50. It's lost about 19%, down to $13.38. The Jellicent, even though there's potential here, it's gotten hammered pretty good opening week. So it started out at $15.63. It's down to $6.30. That one's lost about 60%. The Litwick was at $14 opening day, down about 8%. So not too bad of a drop on the Litwick there, currently sitting at $12.87. The Reshiram EX Full Art has lost about 55%. It started at about $13.49. Now it's down to $6.07. And now we start hitting some of those single-digit prices here with the Purloin, which started out just south of $13. It's down to $8.87. That one's lost about 30%. The Swanna down about 26% as well. That one was at $11.74, down to $8.66. The Roggenrola has dropped over 45%, so this one got hit pretty hard. It was at $10.50. Now it's down to $5.73, so not bad for an illustration rare at all. The Jellicent EX regular art right here started out at $10.22. It's lost over 66%, down to $3.45. Then you have the Cottony. I do like the Cottony. I think this one's kind of cool. $10 is where it started. It's dropped about 37%, so relatively inexpensive now at $6.31. The Sock illustration rare started out at $10. It's down to $7.19, so about a 28% drop on that one. Master Ball Joltik is down about 22%, down to $7.80. The Vullaby, very cool looking background on this one as well. $9.24 is where it started. It's lost about 26%, down to $6.84. The Full Art Hydreigon started out at $7.99, all the way down to $2.43 now. So that one's about 70% down. The Lillipup is the big gainer for White Flare. This one started out at $7.61. This card is super cute, which is why it's doing so well. It's up about 104%, so it's currently sitting at $15.52. Here's that Full Art Whimsicott there. Started out at $6. It's down to $1.51. That one's down about 75%. Brave Bengal, relatively flat. That one started out at $5. Currently sitting at $5.35. So that one's up about 7%. And then you have the Trubbish. Last one we're going to look at. This one started out really cheap at $4.63. It has jumped up about 163%. So currently sitting at $12.17. 17 cents. Overall, you have a lot of decent drops on a lot of these cards, a lot of illustration rares that are selling for single digits already. So yeah, there's some cards, some illustration rares that are a little bit more expensive. We kind of just hold off on those. Maybe start looking at cards like the Roggenrola, maybe start looking at cards like the Swanna or the Purloin that are single digit prices. Start checking those off. Remember, it's going to be out for a while. Don't FOMO, don't lose your mind. We're going to have a couple of years of printing. I'm sure they'll do like some kind of specialty box for Sam's Club and GameStop and Costco, and there will be Black Bolt and White Flare available. Great pull rates also help things a lot. You get an illustration rare 1 out of every 6 packs, which is really cool. That means more cards that will hit the secondary market. So just be patient. Plenty of time to finish this set. It is absolutely beautiful. There's some great cards in this set. So definitely some really encouraging price drops that we're looking at here. Makes it a lot more easy to collect all those cards for a master set. Speaking of master set, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Go back, leave a like and a comment on that video going over the black and white pull rates. So that way you can be entered to win the master sets. We're going to give those away next Friday. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, to listen. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Without you, this wouldn't exist. So thank you so much. We'll be back in a couple days with another video. Until next time, peace!